9.
I'm Rob Harlison. Coming up tonight on News Watch 30, the latest on Hurricane Fran and the threat of a storm bigger than Hugo was in 1989. Plus the latest on the missile raid on Saddam Hussein's troops in Iraq. And one of the city's oldest all-male clubs is opening its doors to the ladies. These stories, plus Damon and Brian, coming your way tonight at 9 on News Watch 30, your neighborhood newscast.
Straight ahead on News Watch 30, they boarded up, anchored, and moved away from the coast. Residents of the southeast are bracing for Hurricane Fran. Will have the very latest.
They've decided to allow females into one of the city's oldest all-male clubs. We'll tell you how club members, new and old, feel about it.
I'm Wendell Stacy in Walls, Mississippi. We'll show you how the winner of the coveted Sundance Film Festival Audience Award is at least partially responsible for these homes and these people's lives. That story, straight ahead.
These stories and much more just ahead on News Watch 30, your neighborhood newscast.
This is News Watch 30 with Rob Harleston, Ken Houston, Brian Tegler, and Damon Andrews.
Residents in the southeast are bracing themselves for what's being described as a large and dangerous hurricane. Good evening, everyone. I'm Ken Houston.
And I'm Rob Harlison. Forecasters say Fran is on the way and packing a very unladylike punch. Hurricane warnings are up from the southern coast of Georgia to the northern coast of the Carolinas. Earlier today, the governor of South Carolina ordered an evacuation of the state's entire coast. That order affects as many as 500,000 people.
And as a result of that, let's check in with Brian on just where Fran is right now.
And where she may be heading later tonight. Brian?
Well, you saw the people there with the preparations, and very wisely so. Hurricane Fran is now packing winds of 115 miles an hour, still moving through warmer waters, so further strengthening is certainly possible. You can see the movement here to the northwest at about 12 miles an hour, very well-defined eye of the hurricane. There you can see it right there. You'll recall in 1989, Hurricane Hugo, 140-mile-an-hour winds, stronger than this hurricane, devastated South Carolina. Right now, hurricane warnings are in effect from Brunswick, Georgia, which is almost to Florida right here, all the way up to Cape Lookout, North Carolina, right in this area right here. It looks as though if things continue at this rate, that the hurricane could make landfall later in the day tomorrow, perhaps just north of Charleston, South Carolina. Again, highest sustained winds with the hurricane, 115 miles an hour, stronger gusts. Look at some of these outer bands of clouds already hitting on the coast there. We'll have more, of course, in the weather segment in just a little bit.
All right. Thanks a lot, Brian. Ken?
Well, turning to other news right now, Operation Desert Strike continues in Iraq tonight as Iraqis claim a U.S. missile hit Baghdad. Officials in Washington say no missiles have been aimed at Baghdad, only at Iraqi military sites in southern Iraq. An explosion did occur in the city's street today, killing one person and injuring 11 others. But the damage was too small to be caused by a cruise missile. It's not known what caused the blast in Baghdad, but one theory is Iraqi anti-aircraft fire may have returned to the ground. The last big conflict against Saddam Hussein was in the Gulf War, which involved several military installations from the Mid-South. So far, the Air National Guard has not been put on alert to help American forces in Iraq. That includes bases in Memphis, Knoxville, Nashville, and the naval base in Millington.
Elizabeth Dole stirs up the GOP faithful today in the Mid-South. The wife of presidential hopeful Bob Dole attended a rally at the Agri Center after touring St. Jude Hospital. Mrs. Dole received a warm welcome as she left the podium for her trademark walk among the crowd. She promoted her husband's economic plan, which includes a 15% tax cut. Mr. Dole claims it will cut taxes and balance the budget at the same time.
Once again, Bob's going to need that team because you're going to see the fundamental change that this country so very much needs. It's going to happen almost overnight once we have a Republican president working with that wonderful Congress. It's all going to change.
Senator Dole continued his Midwest tour today with a town hall meeting in Dearborn, Michigan.
A group of divorced men are fighting to become equal partners in the raising of their children. The group is called DAD, which stands for Dads Against Discrimination. They want the state legislature to change laws that give custody and control of a child to women because of gender. Members of DAD plan to meet with a legislative committee September 12th about equal custody laws. They hope to have a bill on the floor by April 1st.
Since 1962, it's been just the Boys Club of Memphis, but now the ladies are in the house. Because the clubs offer more than just fun and games, the new openings are making winners of everyone from 7 to 17. Kevin Peterson spent the afternoon showing his sister Donna the ins and outs of foosball at the South Side Club that's been just a guys' hangout for more than 30 years.
Girls should come, everybody should come. I wanted to come because I heard it was a lot of fun.
In another part of the club, director Ivory Boykins helps out with a little homework. After-school educational opportunities are big reasons why he thinks girls should be here.
If we're going to break this cycle of poverty that go up to our neighborhood, our inner-city neighborhoods, we got to serve both the girls and the boys.
The move to open up the Boys Club was prompted in part because in the neighborhoods where these clubs are located, half the kids eligible to come were in fact girls.
The response was overwhelmingly positive, so it has been a pretty easy transition bringing the girls in.
25 girls have already started the registration process, including Latara Spikenard. Her mother likes the sense of security that the club offers.
I knew that they were going to have lots of activities, computers, and people to help them and talk to them and show them the right way.
Because most of the programs here are gender neutral, it's expected that the transition won't be that difficult. About the toughest thing right now is including the girls in the title. There are 5 clubs in Memphis making the transition. All 5 will be co-ed by January 1999. The transition is being funded partly by a $10,000 grant from the good folks at Nike. Much more ahead on Newswatch 30. What's cooking with school lunches? Is your child eating healthier meals this year or not? We'll tell you.
And in tonight's Health File, we'll show you a new medical procedure that makes heart bypass surgery less painful. We'll be right back.
There's a world of difference in these people. They've all been to Apollo. Their appearance, their careers, and their social lives have all changed for the better. Whether you need a little or a little more, call Apollo. Our clients swim, shower, and shampoo. Anything they'd normally do. They just look better doing it. To arrange a free consultation, call Apollo toll-free at 1-800-806-9729. We can make a world of difference in your life.
Save up to 50% during Watson's fall preview sale. Choose from a huge selection of spas and hot tubs at factory direct pricing. This 5-person hot tub is now only $19.99. 6 months, same as cash.
Get a beautiful tan at home. Tanning beds now only $12.99.
Regulation 8-foot slate pool tables as low as $8.99 install. Big savings on vented and vent-free gas logs. This 24-inch set is now only $99. Free installation in all remaining above-ground pools.
It's fun. It's Watson's.
This is Newswatch 30.
Thursday is Mom's night out at Flossie. That's when me and my girlfriend, we let the dads cook for the kids. And we go to Flossie and order some nice turkey sandwiches on those hot, baked, fresh, daily sourdough buns with their delicious fruits and salads. Why do we do it? Because we want to, that's why. And there isn't a 3-year-old out there big enough to stop us. Right, girl?
Schlotsky, 4 locations in Memphis.
Your kids are supposed to be getting lower fat lunches at school this year, but one consumer group is giving some cafeterias a failing mark. The group says many school districts across the country are trying to delay meeting new federal nutrition standards. Schools have been asked to cut fat to 30% of calories, saturated fat to 10%, and to add more fruits, veggies, and grains to the menus.
Pain associated with heart bypass surgery may soon become a thing of the past thanks to a new procedure. That procedure requires the use of a videoscopic camera, which is the focus of tonight's Health File. These men are just the latest group of doctors training to perform the videoscopic procedure. It allows doctors to tunnel into the patient's leg, to snip and repair blood vessels with the aid of a tiny camera, and remove a vein that would be used to replace diseased coronary arteries. The procedure requires only 3 small incisions at the ankle, knee, and groin. It's a vast improvement from the incision traditionally made from the groin to the ankle to get the vein.
I think the biggest differences are, number one, doesn't hurt as much, and number two, there are fewer complications in the wounds themselves.
Dr. Wolf is one of 50 doctors in the United States that has performed this surgery, which has shown better results among certain people. It also promises to get patients back on their feet much quicker.
People who may be overweight and diabetic may do a lot better with this than with the standard procedure. But we really do not have definitive answers about those questions at this point.
300,000 heart bypass surgeries are performed each year, but only 10 patients have undergone this procedure so far.
That is so amazing that the body comes with its own spare parts like that.
You better believe it. The best part about it.
All right. Stay ahead on Newswatch 30. NASA is forced to change the launch date of the shuttle Atlantis. We'll tell you why.
But first, Brian tells us what's ahead in our forecast. Brian?
That's right. Hey, Wednesday, we'll talk about our end-of-the-week weekend weather in just a minute. Also, we'll update you a little bit more on Hurricane Fran.
Change. It never stops. There's a rhythm and energy to life. A passion and curiosity that keeps it fresh and interesting. Life changes. I'm not about to stand still.
The Geraldo Rivera Show. Weekdays at 1 on UPN 30.
Poplar Plaza's #1 again, and the shopping's great. Come on.